So guys, here it is, Xiaomi's Penta Camera Magic. So watch this video till the end because I'm going to review this brand new Xiaomi Note 10 and talk about its pros and cons. I'm Sesh and you're here with another tech session. So if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so I can keep you updated on cool new products on the market. So Xiaomi have definitely gone bonkers with this latest addition to their smartphone lineup. First, let's clear the name issue here. Well, it's being sold inside China as Xiaomi CC9 Pro, but outside China, it goes under the name of Xiaomi Note 10. So when you look at it, there are two main things that you would definitely not miss. One is this curved display, and the other is this new Penta camera setup. These two things are quite new to Xiaomi as well. It is the first time that Xiaomi have gone with a curved display, and most definitely this is the first phone to come out with a Penta camera setup containing a massive 108 megapixel sensor. They're stuck to the teardrop style front camera setup as they did in Xiaomi CC9, but its bezels and chin are much smaller than of CC9's. Therefore it has a higher screen to body ratio of around 88%, and you get Gorilla Glass 5 protection on both the front and the back. There's also an aluminium frame around it. This beast is powered by a massive 5260 mAh battery, and with 30-watt fast charging, you can get this to charge up to 50% in around 25 minutes and up to 100% in an amazingly quick 65 minutes. Those are pretty good numbers. So all this has resulted in adding some weight into it. It weighs around 210 grams. You get the fingerprint scan onto the display, and face unlock is also available. Well, though it's an early November release, it doesn't offer 5G and it doesn't have the memory expansion option as well. But 128 gigs and 256 gigs options are available, and therefore in my opinion, it's not so much of a deal breaker. Moving on to its display, it sports a 6.47-inch 3D curved Super AMOLED display with a pixel density of 398 pixels per inch. Maximum brightness is around 600 nits, and you get HDR10 to boost your contrast when you're watching videos. There were no evident dark spots on the edges of the display, and in general it is pretty good. The front camera hasn't had any hardware upgrades as they have gone with the same 32 megapixel camera which the CC9 had, and it's still pretty good. Both standard and portrait modes are producing pretty good quality photos, and you get the beauty camera option along with them. In case you don't fancy the beauty camera's extra smoothing effect and you want your photos to be super lively, then you would want to switch off the beauty camera. My only concern was that although the beauty camera can be completely switched off in the portrait mode, in the standard selfie mode, the beauty effect can only be dialed down. This portrait photo was captured with the beauty camera fully switched off, and you can see the edges of the focused hair certainly sharp enough to be clearly separated from the shallow depth field. You also get high dynamic range, 1080p, 30 frames per second video recording out of this. So here I move on to its much anticipated Penta camera setup. It has a 5 megapixel telephoto lens with 5 times optical zoom, another 12MP telephoto lens with 2 times optical zoom for portrait photos, 108MP main wide lens, 20MP ultra wide lens, and a dedicated 2 megapixel macro lens. It also has a quad LED dual tone flash. So you must be already wondering why it has 2 telephoto sensors. Well, these 2 sensors work together when you want to zoom in and capture a photo in the standard photo mode. For an example, if you directly choose the 2x zoom option, it uses the 12MP telephoto sensor to provide that 2x zoom in. But if you hit that 5x zoom option, it switches to the 5 megapixel sensor to provide that zoom. But zooming in doesn't really stop there. You can zoom up to 50 times with that lens. So due to having hybrid zooming up to 10 times, you can zoom in smoothly without the picture quality getting affected as much. From there onwards till 50x, it can be zoomed digitally. After 10x, it seemed that the quality of the photo was gradually decreasing, but still at 50x, its picture quality trumps some DSLR cameras even. Regardless of all that, 50 times out of a smartphone, that's simply amazing. So the bottom line of having these 2 lenses is that you can still take a pretty good portrait photo out of the 12MP sensor, and you can use two separate lenses for zooming according to your preference. And the picture quality of neither will be affected. With its default 1x mode, photos are getting captured in 27 megapixels from the main sensor, and they are pretty amazing. The photos are finely detailed and the colors are pretty much balanced. The dynamic range also stands out. If you switch to the 108 megapixel mode, the photos come out further detailed and with slightly better colors and slightly wider dynamic range. But increased number of pixels means you're dealing with more noise when you zoom in on the taken photo. Once you capture the photo, it produces an in-display trackpad so you can easily explore the captured photo. Mind you, it takes a considerable amount of seconds for the photo captured to be saved and refresh the camera for the next take. This particular photo was not captured using the portrait mode. It was in the 108 megapixel mode, but due to f1.69 large aperture, it lets in a lot of light so it can create this portrait effect when focused appropriately. The 117-degree ultra-wide lens showed slightly inferior results from colors, sharpness and dynamic range aspects compared to the 27 megapixel mode. But maybe it's an unfair comparison because this ultra-wide sensor is one of the best to come out of a smartphone. Image distortion is evidently less, and in my opinion, this definitely outperforms many smartphone ultra-wide modes around. The dedicated macro lens may struggle a bit to keep up with the standards set by its neighboring lenses, but it still captures good enough photos for a smartphone macro. Video recording from the back camera is available up to 4K 30 fps and 1080p 60 fps is also available. For macro videography, 1080p up to 240 fps and 720p up to 960 fps are available. This is me freely walking around holding the phone in my bare hands without using any gimbal of any sort. Videos can be shot using all 5 lenses, and 4K 30 fps videos shot using the main camera and even the ultra-wide camera possessed very good quality color rendering and a wide dynamic range. 4-axis optical image stabilization is enabled for all modes shot using the main camera, and electronic image stabilization is available for 30 fps modes except for the macro mode. This also provides a new stabilization mode called super stabilization and seems like it can absorb heavy movement. Take a look at this comparison of me shaking the phone purposely. It really can smoothen out that movement. The CC9 Pro is run by Qualcomm's upper mid-range Snapdragon 730G processor and GPU is Adreno 618. Performance-wise, both these units have had only slight upgrades from the Mi CC9 model. I was somewhat disappointed about this because considering all the effort that they put to upgrade the camera system, they could have gone with a superior chip and a GPU. As its Antutu benchmark scores are compared, 18 months old Mi 8's Snapdragon 845 scores way higher than the 730G. Both its CPU and GPU are not the worst around, but they're not among the best either. Well, these CC9 phones are supposed to be from Xiaomi's mid-priced range lineup, therefore in order to keep this CC9 Pro in the same category, such decisions must have been made. Also, it heats up to some considerable extent, and that can be an issue, especially if you're into gaming. On some occasions I found it to be a bit laggy, and camera also crashed a few times, but hopefully it would be fine with some firmware updates over time. Sounds from the single speaker at the bottom, pretty much the same as you get from any Xiaomi phone these days. Kind of lacks the low end, but you still get the 3.5mm headphone jack. So let me wrap this up. Talking about pros, its amazing camera system is a class apart from many smartphones up to date, and this phone is definitely designed specifically for that. Its massive battery and super fast charging times are also huge pluses. Also, its smooth 3D curved display definitely makes this stand out from other Xiaomi models. Talking about cons here, well, don't get me mistaken, this is not even close to being bad. Let's just say that it's sitting comfortably in that upper mid-range performance group. In other words, this chip won't be a deal breaker if you're buying this for its camera. But if you're a gamer and you want to run everything in the highest possible settings, then in my opinion this phone shouldn't be your first choice, because it also has this slight overheating issue and an above average GPU. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe so I can keep you updated with more content like this. Also, if you haven't checked out my iPhone 11 Pro Max review, the link is right here. I'll be back soon. Cheers.